Do you need a course map? Maps are particularly helpful at facilities where the majority of your golfers aren't familiar with your course and how to navigate from one hole to the next is not well marked or obvious. Most private courses won't want a map. Their members already know how to get around the course. On the other hand, public courses might want to consider putting one on their card. If you do end up using a map, the bigger the better. 27 or 36 hole facilities will definitely want a larger map, preferably covering 2 panels on a 6x12 trifold card. Maps have a lot of little details like tee boxes, greens, and cart paths that you can't see very well unless the map is a decent size. Maps are a good way to show the location of important things like restrooms, AED devices, drinking fountains, halfway houses, and lightning shelters, all of which are difficult to see if your map is too small. If you want a more detailed layout of the individual holes, you might want to use hole-by-hole graphics instead of an overall map. Hole-by-hole maps are also a good way to display pro tips on the card. Overall maps are important to have if it's confusing to navigate from one hole to the next. But hole-by-hole graphics are usually a better way to illustrate the location of hazards and help the golfer plan their shot. Keep in mind that if your carts have GPS units, your golfer is more likely to use the GPS map and won't need a map on the scorecard. Another feature you will find on cards is pin placement graphics. These show an overhead view of the green and label sections of the green with letters or numbers to indicate where the pin is located that day. Many courses follow a pattern of front, middle, back, front, middle, back, so after the first hole the golfer knows where the pin is for the rest. However, if your course does not follow this pattern or has more than 3 general areas, it becomes especially helpful to include pin placement graphics on your card. Pin graphics also allow you to show other useful information like the shape of the green, the location of bunkers and water hazards near the green, and the depth and width of the green. Some courses also use arrows to show slope directions. Here are some examples. This one only has 3 pin locations, but the pattern is not consistent. If the location that day is 2, then it's middle, front, front, back, middle, front, and middle, back, front. That can be confusing if you're not familiar with the pattern. The green depths have also been included, which will help the golfer in selecting their club. A front placement versus a back placement is at least a 1 club difference. This next one has 6 different locations indicated with letters. Each front, middle, and back section has a left side and a right side. This card doesn't include any hazards, but this next one from Ruffled Feathers does. This course has a simpler pattern, but you can see that the location of bunkers and water hazards around the greens are very important. Also note how helpful it is to know the depth of the green, especially on hole number 4, which runs from 27 yards to 76 yards. These graphics, as you have seen, can go above the grid or on a side panel. Above the grid requires a 6-inch high card or the elimination of scoring rows on a shorter card, but most of the time they are put on the third panel of a 6x12 card with 9 greens on a side. 18 greens also fit nicely on one side of a panel too. If you run out of space on your scorecard though, one solution is to make a card just for your pins. Charter Oaks has a nice pin card which fits into a holder on their golf carts. It shows both depth and width of the greens as well as having reminders of pace of play. This second pin sheet here is a good example too because it's got 8 locations to keep track of. In this section we talked about maps on the scorecard. To recap, if you're a private course with members who know their way around, you probably don't need a map. If you're a public course without a lot of regular golfers, you'll probably want a map. Overall maps are good if it's confusing to get from one hole to the next, while hole-by-hole graphics are better at showing the location of hazards and helping the golfer plan their shot. Regardless of the kind of map you use, make it as big as possible. Pin placement graphics are helpful if you've got a confusing pin rotation pattern or want to give your golfers additional information about the greens, like depth, width, and shape. If you don't have enough space on your scorecard for pin graphics, consider using a separate pin sheet.